Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Who needs hospitals and recuperation and all that? We don't need that. We're ready. Too many things happen in this world that these guys are telling us their narrative. And I am here to tell you maybe the other side of the story or a different interpretation of whatever these media operatives are vomiting on us. So first, thank you very much for all your wishes of well-being after the little surgery that I had. They had to remove 3 IQ points. I was too high. I had to be about 86, so I was about 89. So you gotta remove 3 of them. How do we do that? Bang, bang, bang. Put a dope. Put a plug in, and here I am, 86 now. I can cover exactly like them. So what happened? We have here Israel, the Jewish state, and with Jews, they provide Ukraine with Patriot systems. Well, Jewish state with Jews provides to Ukraine, who's in charge of Ukraine, Zelenskyy, Yermak, Shmihal, Jews. So it's just a coincidence. And yes, one of the big envoys from United States to deal with the Ukrainians, with Zelenskyy, and with European Putin is a Jew, Vitkov. So it's just a coincidence. Tell me how many Romanians are involved in this. It's okay, Romania is actively involved, is at war with Russia. Russia is not at war with Romania. Romania is at war with Russia. So what happened here? This is the first article, where actually I have 2, regarding the Patriot systems brought to Ukraine from Israel. The other one, Mr. Zelenskyy, from the very beginning of this thing in Ukraine, he wanted the Westerners to kill themselves, one another. That's my assessment of that. He always calls for those guys to ramp up something on the Russians. And that will push Russians maybe to the edge of using nuclear weapons, and then these nuclear weapons, and that's among us. The Middle East is going to stay there, the East is going to stay there, and it's okay. These bankers and the guys in charge of us don't have a set residence, so they can be somewhere else until we fuck ourselves. And then they bring whatever they bring, and they reconstruct with them in power. It's just they take over. We destroy you through our embassies. It's going to be a mutual destruction, and then we show up and we just help you. You're going to belong to us. Like Germany belongs to the same guys that I'm mentioning right now. So Zelenskyy demands action from America after latest Russian drone and missile attack. What do you think action means? Do you mean war? I mean, I'm on war with those guys shot missiles and drones at me. What do you mean action? There's some box gloves or something? No, he wants America to do some action. This I don't even know how to call him. I have too many names, but I'm on YouTube here. It's just wants to get us in a war. No, anyway, because we are bad, I guess. Remember, these guys keep past events in their memory, and they still have to pay back to the Greeks, to the Babylonians, to the Westerners, to the Germans, to the whomever, the Russians now. They always have this, the Egyptians, they fuck them anyway, and so on. All these guys are fulfilling things that they had a problem with in the past. I don't know, 2,000 years or more. Grudges from 2,000 years ago. Oh, all right. So that's the second topic. And the third topic is something that I think we know, which is Great Britain is actively involved in a war against Russia. But the problem is we have here Mr. Lavrov. And Mr. Lavrov, I think he's a trustworthy individual. You can say, well, give me one lie. Give me one lie. Give me 2. Give me 3. If you give me 3, that means everything else that he said is true. So that means with 3, give me 1 when you heard Lavrov lying. So to me, Lavrov crossed a little Rubicon, which is like a different kind of person, like Wang Yi of China. I know all the bad dudes, like Peter Giarto, foreign minister of Hungary, Dr. Ajahn Shankar in India. All these 4 are diplomats. The rest are baboons at someone else's orders, which are usually the military industrial complex. So what do we have? Lavrov tells us how much the Brits are involved in the terrorism against Russia. You can say, what terrorism are you talking about? Well, I made a video a few days ago, once you attack the domestic civilian areas and dwellings, that's an act of terrorism. So I think the Ukrainians did a few times, if I remember correctly, including the last time when Mr. Shbucha, the foreign minister of Ukraine, came, the only Ukrainian, mind you, in the area, because you got defense minister Mr. Umerov, who's the Tatar, and then supposedly Syrsky is in charge of the Ukrainian military. Syrsky is ethnic Russian. So where are the Ukrainians? I tell you where they are. In the front line, dying, shooting at or running from their brothers' little things. That's where the Ukrainians are. Or some of them escaped these imbeciles. So Lavrov says that United Kingdom 100% is helping Ukraine to stage terrorist acts. What do you think? All right, so let's start with the beginning. This comes from Russia Today. This is from today, June 10th, 2025 at 3:31 a.m. Remember, this is very important because the next article is going to be from 1400s, so that's 2 p.m. So Israel has transferred Patriot missile systems to Ukraine, the ambassador says. Michael Brodsky says West Jerusalem has provided military aid without public acknowledgement. Israel has quietly transferred U.S. Patriot air defense systems to Ukraine. Israeli ambassador to Kiev Michael Brodsky has revealed the country previously insisted that it was only providing humanitarian assistance. I don't know, Zelenskyy is Jew, you are a Jew, what the hell? I mean, you're crazy. Yeah, let your brother, no. Killed by European again? No, ain't gonna happen. So, and I'm quoting this guy. The Patriot systems we once received from the United States are now in Ukraine. Clear? Clear, this is a quotation Mark Brodsky said in an interview with Ukrainian journalist Marichka Dovbenko, published on Sunday. These were Israeli systems deployed in the early 1990s, the ones that take a shot when Mr. Saddam Hussein sent some Scud missiles. I think they had a accuracy percentage of about 12 or something. I mean it, between 10 or some 8 and 17. That was the rate of success with those Patriot systems against the Soviet Scud missiles. All right, next. All right, he says, unfortunately, this hasn't been widely discussed. But when people say that Israel hasn't helped military, that's simply not true. You got it? So what happened? Remember, Trump diverted 20,000 missiles that were supposed to go to Ukraine. He transferred them to the Middle East. Who do you think that he gave them the Middle East to? Saudi Arabia? Or maybe to Yemen? Or who do you think? Iran? Or maybe Syria? No, it's Israel. Do you think they transferred them to themselves? And if to themselves, what are they doing in the Middle East? That's far, far away from the United States of America's territory. Don't ask this question, you might get in trouble, okay? No. So this is what the guy said, and let's see what's true. And the Americans give them now Patriot system, the newest, to the Jewish state, so the Jewish state can defend itself always against whomever they want to bomb. All right, let's go to the second article. Remember the time, right? It was 3-something in the morning. This is at 14:58, so almost 1500, that 3 p.m. Israel denies sending Patriot systems to Ukraine. Media. The foreign minister has reportedly refuted the claim by its ambassador to Kiev that air defense missiles batteries have been provided. So this Israeli foreign minister has reportedly denied the country supplied Ukraine with Patriot air defense systems, contradicting comments made by its ambassador to Kiev. Israeli envoy Michael Brodsky told Ukrainian media in an interview on Sunday, that U.S.-produced Patriot systems formerly deployed in Israel were now being used by Kiev's military. He expressed his disappointment that the development hasn't been widely discussed. However, a statement issued by the foreign ministry on Tuesday refuted the claim, according to the Israeli and Russian news outlets. So that was Sunday, right? And this is the same thing. This is the 10th, and they did it on Tuesday. So this was reported again on 10. 10 is Tuesday, isn't it? Tuesday, right? They reported on Tuesday. These guys reported it on Tuesday, right here. Refuting the claim according to the Israeli and Russian news outlets. And I'm quoting, Israel did not transfer Patriot systems to Ukraine. That's it, what this guy said. Brodsky called the Patriot in question all the models initially deployed in the 1990s. I think that's so accurate. The Israel Defense Forces decommissioned those obsolete systems last year and replaced them with newer, domestically manufactured platforms because they're inventors, you know what I mean? With whose money? Reports suggested the Israel Defense Forces were dissatisfied with Patriot performance during the 2014 Gaza conflict. Now, I don't know about you, my friends, but if someone gives me some product, some item that they have and I don't like, and say, this is not good, you can have it, I feel personally insulted. You don't tell them, oh, I got this one, I think you should have it. That's a different story. But hey, these guys suck, you can have it. Who the hell do you think I am? The poor relative that you have? Anyway, you say, just I don't know, don't fit me. I don't know, I'm a little bit, one different kind, that's it. But no, they didn't say that. Remember, that's the first one. And the second one, if you send the obsolete ones, that means you endanger other nations' boys who will be destroyed by the Russians. Easily probably discovered and all that. And not so efficient. So I would never send an F-16 to a country to fight the Russians who are much more advanced than an F-16. I wouldn't send an Abrams tank or Leopard 2 tank or a Challenger 2 tank or the Brits one. They are not, I mean, if you want them to be blown up, send them over there. So this guy said no. What do you think? I think they sent the old ones, not the newer version. Not the newer version is, and here is Zelenskyy in a position right there. ABC News. But this is where Zelenskyy, not that. Okay. Zelenskyy demands, so this guy, this thug, demands action from America after latest Russian drone missile attack. What do you mean you demand? Have you ever went to your supervisors and say, I demand, or to your director, I demand, or your principal, I demand, or to your wife, I demand? You go to your safe space in a second. So what do you mean you demand? Understand that this guy, first, Trump cannot set things in order. There are energies, forces bigger than him, or possible he is part of the whole system. He just plays a game. Papa, I'm trying, but they don't let me, and that's the way it is with the baboons. They will believe him. So how can you not intervene and get Zelenskyy out of that? They took out Slobodan Milosevic, they took out Saddam Hussein, they take care of the Taliban, they took care of Gaddafi, they took care of Assad, they took care of Sadat too, Assad and all that, but they can't get rid of this baboon over there. Why? Because that's their man, that's why. But he demands action from America. What do you think that means? Let's read, maybe we can find here a little quotation from this guy. The majority of the damage was sustained by civilian infrastructure, Kiev's military administration wrote in a post, and the Americans said no. The Russians said no. It's not true. It was the military, because I have an article where they say no, we only targeted military infrastructure. Let two people, Kaparapa. All right, where is he? Residential buildings and urban infrastructure were damaged. So we're in Moscow. In Odessa, even maternity hospitals became, okay, this is with pathos, not with logos, always. 13 people, blah, blah, blah. It is vital that the response to this and other similar Russian attacks is not silence from the world. First, you're a narcissist. How do you think that Ukraine is the center of the world? That's exactly what he portrays. He thinks that's a big guy who defends our freedoms, everything, because he's sacrificing himself. No, I don't buy that garbage. Action from America. Like what? Which has the power to force Russia into peace. He continued. Action from Europe. Why not from Israel, motherfucker? What about Zimbabwe, my friends? Zelenskyy is calling you. Which has no alternative but to be strong. No alternative. The alternative is to don't be so dictatorial. Don't look down on Russia. Don't think that you're superior. And I think you can have an understanding. And the same with the Americans. That's only that way the war is going to stop over there. And Zelenskyy, what do you think? But a strong action from others around the world who call for diplomacy and end to the war, and whom Russia has ignored. There must be strong pressure for the sake of peace. No, I think you are the obstacle, big obstacle in peace. And you are the big obstacle for the peace in 2022, in January, February, in 2021. Since you were elected, you were elected. You are an obstacle. So you are the problem, I think. Nevertheless, he wants the Americans to do what exactly? Go to war with Russia? To war with Russia? Yeah. Like Zelenskyy has the Ukrainian nation disappear, and then going to import some friends from my Zimbabwe to help with the procreation. That's fine, and there will be all Europeans over there. Why don't we change for a while? I send some Romanians or Europeans to, let's say, Zimbabwe or Namibia or wherever he wants to bring the immigrants from, or Syria. We just mix with them as well. If it's fine for them to mix with us, how about we mix with them? I'm all for it. I got a lot of things to give. Anyway, let's go to the next one. He wants a world war. My friends, this is the baboon's move. And let's go to the last article, which comes again from Russia Today. UK 100% helping Ukraine to stage terrorist acts, says Lavrov. I believe that 99%. Kiev would not have been able to carry out attacks inside Russia on its own, the foreign minister has said. And that's true. I listened to some military experts or military people who just gave some information on how can you have, and it's also logical. How can you, okay, I understand you took the trucks somehow. You put them, I don't know, 10 miles away from the airfield somewhere, and you move around or got them somewhere. You have to unload those things. Okay, you unload, and they all fly at one command, all of them, so they hit the target within maybe an hour. That's it. So who coordinated? Do you think the people will walkie-talkie, one from the Norwegian border with the other guys from Siberia? How do you think they coordinated? The Russians said they didn't coordinate with the telephones. What kind of military-grade communication system they had? Exactly, they had 2 satellites. Whose satellites? Not the regular satellites. So this is the main thing. All this coordination could not have been done by the people on the territory. Remember, how many drones do you think were launched on each airfield? Let's give 20. Is it too much, 20? 20 of each airfield. That would mean there will make about 100 airplanes, a fixed wing or whatever they are. I don't think it's Baba Yaga, but other ones, even smaller drones. So then that means you have to have about 100 operators. Who gonna direct them or what? No. Otherwise, you have to make the coordinations, communicating coordinated from a central office, from Kiev central office, through whose satellites you are able to command these drones. These drones were out and operated not by people inside Russia. I don't think they had 100 people with each one with one drone. I don't think you operate 2 drones or 3 drones in the same time, since you have to have the target. I don't know, but who coordinated that? I mean, please, my friends, this is just the minimum. The same with the masks during COVID. They told us to wear masks. I can show you freaking this. I can see you through it. And that's going to stop the microscopic spores coming from COVID pathogen. Are you kidding me? But these guys, yes, wear a mask. Fuck that shit. All right? Anyway, so let's go further here. There is no doubt that Britain is helping Ukraine to carry out terrorist attacks inside Russia. Now, those attacks on the airfields were not terrorist attacks. Those were military bases. The Russians used some to attack Ukraine. That's correct. Now, if these guys destroyed, I don't know, the bridge of the Kerch Bridge, the Crimean Bridge, I think that's a terrorist act. But that specific 5 airfields targeted by the Ukrainians, I don't think that was a terrorist act. And I don't think that was conducted on a civilian infrastructure. So I don't know. The ones with the bridges, yes, those were terrorist acts. Let's see what Lavrov refers to. I think the bridges, they sabotage the bridges. Now I don't know if that cannot be organized by the Ukrainians. After all, the Ukrainians are human beings. They have their own techniques or trainings or manuals. There have been several sabotage incidents on Russian railway since the start of the month. So that's what he says. The worst occurred on June 1st when a bridge collapsed in front of a moving passenger train, Bryansk region, killing 7 people and injuring more than 100 others. The same day, Ukraine targeted Russian air bases across the country. So this is not a terrorist act, I have to tell you. From Murmansk in Arctic, Irkutsk in Siberia, in a coordinated assault which involved explosive lead drones taking off from commercial trucks, according to Moscow. Most of the incoming UAVs were shot down and none of the affected Russian planes were damaged beyond repair. I don't believe that, but nevertheless, this is not what he says, according to Moscow. Speaking during a forum of the Future 2050 in Moscow on Monday, Lavrov acknowledged that, and I'm quoting, a risk of the rise in the level of terrorist threat exists in Russia. It is obvious, I'm quoting, it is obvious that all this is being done by the Ukrainian side, but it would have been helpless without the support from the British, he said. I don't know why the British and not the French. If you ask the British, they will tell you, because the French are baboons. Such activities were previously backed by both US and UK, but now we would have to do solely with the British. Lavrov claimed. You see, this is how do you call it? Media claimed. It doesn't say yeah, claimed. He claims, doesn't have to prove it, right? The diplomat was referring to the fact that Ukraine remains one of UK remains one of the Ukraine's staunchest supporters, despite the US changing course under the administration. And I'm quoting, although who knows, maybe there are still some special services in the US that are participating in such activities by inertia, but the British are 100% involved in them, he stressed. Last week, Moscow ambassador to London similarly accused the UK of participating. Okay, and here's with the air bases. This kind of attack involves, of course, provision of very high technology, so-called geospatial data, what was I telling you, which can only be done by those who have it in possession. And this is London and Washington. Kelly told Sky News. He added that he did not believe that the US was somehow involved Tuesday due to Trump's denying and any acknowledge of the Kiev plans. Downing Street has neither confirmed nor denied the US participation, with the government spokesman saying, and I'm quoting, "We never comment on operational matters at home or abroad." There you go. So, I always say, if you claim something, what are you going to do to fix it? What are you going to do to fix it? So far, the Russians limited their attacks inside Ukraine. Now, maybe that would expand with an accident somehow, somewhere. And probably that's why some people think that the whole thing in Ukraine is just staged. Because a normal, how much we are allowed to know, are things that happen behind the scenes as well. But it's like in a war with a neighbor. I always make this analogy with a neighbor, and you have other neighbors attacking your neighbor, giving your neighbor the ability to kill some of your family members. Wouldn't you fuck the other guys up, knowing that you can? And Russia is still continuing hitting this guy, and those guys supplying with those don't help. Your child is fucked. Blah, blah. Is that how you like? Is that how a normal human being acts? Remember, countries are formed by nations. Nations are formed by human beings. Human beings have almost the same psychology. They have different means sometimes, but they use the same psychology. It hurts me, I either run away or I smack you. Well, that's it. There's no other alternative. And the Russians limit themselves to hitting not the origin. They still try to make peace things. They think that they will discuss with Trump, and Trump will make these baboons stop. Or is they're all in it? Which one is it? As I said in some of my previous videos, the scenario, the hypothesis, I would say, that these guys are all in it, and it's as crazy as could be. I think I gave you about 20%. 20%. Do I have any evidence? Their actions. These guys shoot at you, and you take your mom and put it in front of those guys instead of getting the ones that started it, initiated the whole thing with their NATO expansion. I mean, this is idiotic. Who does that? And for how long? You think you're going to beat them in Ukraine? Is that what you're going to have a continuous war in Ukraine? Maybe. But those guys will escalate. And little by little, I guarantee you, these guys will escalate. They've been escalating every second of the war, every step. The only thing that is missing right now, there's two things: nuclear weapons and active military, NATO military in Ukraine. Legal. So what are you going to do? So you're going to go to nuclear weapons? I don't think that, and these guys are still standing on them. For how long? Don't you see that these guys escalated? From bullets to drones to howitzers to javelins, with tanks, with armored vehicles, tanks, fighter jets, intelligence. Now they're going and do sabotage inside of your country. What if tomorrow they destroy something in the Red Square? What are you going to do? Again, you say partners, they are involved. Yeah, we all know they're involved. The next step is how you solve the problem. Because as it's going right now, those guys are not stopping. None of them. The Americans pretend, but they still give Ukrainians weapons and intelligence. They didn't stop doing that. So what are you waiting for? For how long are you still waiting? Saying, okay, we have a problem. The water is coming in the house through the broken pipe. And we all look at it and try to put our hands over. Oh, okay, I don't think it's going to fix it. What do you think? Oh, you're going to put a... No, it's not going to fix it. Go to the origin, which all you can do is go down outside or wherever you have the little faucet or turn it off and the water from the city or the well, whatever you have, is not coming your house. Those are the NATO members, the United States of America, Great Britain, France. These are the Germany. These are the guys who will orchestrate the whole thing. And then you come here and you fix Ukraine. You don't fight Ukraine, put in the hand on the freaking broken hose or pipe or whatever you have. You go to the origin, turn it off over there. How? You tell them this. I'm crazy. I give you a deadline. That's it, man. That's the end of the line. You think I'm bluffing? Get your fucking nuclear weapons on high alert. And let's see if you're going to dare to act. Because I will, definitely. Why? What am I going to do? I'm going to fight with you the same like ping pong unless they are spoken. I understand that I don't know many things that happen behind the scenes. But what I can see here is like those guys are advancing even more with their terrorist attacks, if you want. When are you going to say it's enough? They even enter your country in Kursk. They invaded it. They tried to destroy the Kerch Bridge. They attack so many refineries that you depend on. What do you wait for? At one point, I guarantee you, if those guys will escalate. I guarantee you. Why? Why wouldn't they? They are here to destroy Russia, and they are all for it. Until you smack them around, they will continue to do that. But smacking around. Remember, we here in the West and our elites have more to lose than the guys in Russia and their elites. I mean, how much the Russians conduct, the elites? Russia? That's it, 145 million. And the other guys, how many they have? They have the United States of America. The whole Western world, you get what? About, let's say 1 billion, maybe, not even. I mean, I'm taking Japan, Australia, anyway, the European baboons, the United States of America, Canada. Let's say you put all this together, you maybe get to about, as I said, 330 plus about 500. So you get about, as I said, 1 billion, let's say. And the Russians have 145 million that they are strong. These guys have future, man. Anyway, here it is. I think they're involved 99%. I don't like to say 100 even though, because I don't have the evidence clear. But the evidence is situational. And not only situational, it's active examples. I don't say, oh, it's a Brit over there helping, but they are training the Ukrainians. Do you think those Magura V drones, the nautical drones that are made by the Ukrainians, I don't believe that any. No, I don't think so. If they're built in Ukraine, they'll build with Brits technology and materials and everything. Those are not built by the Ukrainian. Not that they're stupid. There are some things that people already have the technology. These guys did not have it. But anyway, why? Do you think they just adapted in the middle of the war? It was not in February, March when they used them. They used them further. That means what? What can we do? They advanced, they adapted. Even if you can't want to adapt, right now we're adapting. My family, we're adapting. We're going to build a rocket. Woohoo! How soon before we build a rocket? Never. So the same with Ukrainians. To have certain things together, they have the capability, but they don't have the technology. Unless someone just drops it on them. You see, Emil, that's the way you build it. You have this, blah, 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 blah. We teach you how to build it, and you operate it. But it was me all the time. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.